my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about The Iron Knight by Julie Kagawa, and this is book 4 in the Iron Fae series. So, I like this book a whole lot. Like, a whole lot, guys. This might be my favorite book in the Iron Fae series. And we're following Ash's point of view, and there's really not much more I can say without going into spoilers. So if you haven't read this far yet, click away now and come back later. So, like I was saying, we're following Ash's point of view, which is interesting, because we have Megan's point of view for the first 3 books. So now we're getting a totally different point of view. And I have to say, I don't mind Ash as a narrator. He kept my interest, so yeah. So at the end of the Iron Queen, before Ash is banished from the Iron Realm, he makes an oath to Megan that he will find a way to be with her in the Iron Realm. And since he's a traditional fairy, he cannot really survive in the Iron Realm for long, because iron is deadly to the traditional fae. So, he feels that the best way for him to be able to do that is to become human, to get a soul, which isn't something that's done. So he has really no idea how to do that, and his best guess is to find Grimalkin and see if he knows anything, because, you know, the cat seems to know everything. And Puck joins him on this little adventure, mostly because it's an adventure, and then another reason, he wants to be able to look out for Ash for Megan's sake. And if anything happens to Ash, he wants to be able to tell Megan exactly what happened, so she's not left in the dark. So they find Grimalkin after, you know, trolloping all over the Never Never, trying to find him. And he says there's one person who would likely know, and that is this seer. So he brings them to this seer, and on that journey, they are joined by the Big Bad Wolf, who wants in on this. Why? Because this tale, this story of them going on this journey, could either end in great victory or great tragedy. And either way, it will most likely be told for generations. And if he's in on the story, he will be more well known. And that's how the Fae, you know, survive and keep from fading away. By being remembered. And if his name is on the story, he will be remembered. Even more than he already is. So, you know, they could use him. And if they don't let him be part of the party, he'll, like, trail after them, causing trouble down the way. And they don't want that, so they're like, okay, I guess you can join us. So all of them go to the seer, and surprise, surprise, it is Ariella, who Ash and Puck thought was dead for decades. Which, you know, her death is what caused this stupid feud between them. Ash had swore that he would kill Puck to avenge her memory, and since the Fae are bound by their oaths, he has to go through with that. Now that they find out that Ariella is alive, Ash doesn't exactly have to avenge her memory anymore, so that feud is officially gone. But that doesn't completely, you know, fix things between them. Because they've had decades of this bad blood and words between the two of them, and that's just not going to go away. So they're better than they were before, but still doesn't look like things will go back to the way they were before. So apparently Ariella, she's the one who's orchestrated, like, you know, Puck being assigned Megan's guardian, and just all sorts of little things that kind of went together to make Megan becoming the Iron Queen happen. And she saw that Megan and Ash would fall in love, which pained her greatly, because she and Ash were very deeply in love, and, well, that's what had to happen in order for Megan to become the Iron Queen, and for the Iron Realm not to completely take over the Never Never. And Ash can't exactly sit around and just be with Ariella, because that means he wouldn't be completing his oath to Megan, and if he doesn't do that, he would eventually fade away to nothingness, because that's what happens to Fae who break oaths like that, apparently. So Ariella, she leads them to the end of the world, the end of the Never Never, by following the River of Dreams. Some very interesting stuff happens along the way, and they eventually reach the testing grounds at the end of the world. And there, Ash is put through these trials to see if he is worthy of having a soul. And apparently, you can't just, you know, stay Fae and have a soul. That doesn't happen. It won't work that way. Because the Fae, they're without conscience, they're without regrets. They're much more stronger than humans are. A soul, if it's just put into a Fae, would wither and die. So Ash is put through these 3 tests. They're weird. They're not pass and fail. It's just survive. And the first test is for Ash to basically climb this impossible mountain and fight these ongoing attacks from these monsters without his glamour or his Fae strength. So he's basically as strong as a human right now, and, you know, he obviously doesn't survive all the attacks, but that's not the point of the test, to survive the attacks. It's to realize you're going to be weaker, you're going to be slower, you're not going to have access to your glamour if you become human. So it's, you know, these tests kind of push home what he's really giving up. The next trial is him. He basically has to relive all the horrible deeds he has done, and there were a lot of them, and it's amazing how much he has changed from this past Ash that he used to be. And basically he has to relive all these memories, but with a conscience. He has to feel regret. And he manages to survive that, which is impressive, because that is a lot of regret right there. And after that, he almost is unwilling to go through the final test, because he's like, I can't do this. I can't forget all the things I've done. And Grimmelkin, being awesome, is just like, yeah, you don't have to forget. The point of a conscience is to remember and to learn and to improve yourself from learning from these horrible experiences. And that gives Ash, you know, the strength to go through the final test. And with that, he's basically shown a future that he has with Megan if he gets this soul. And, you know, he'd live a pretty good life with her. And he'd have a son named Kieran, and basically this memory shows everything that will happen in that future, including him eventually growing old and dying. And basically, that's to show that, yeah, you will die and those around you that you love will stay the same because they are Fae. What I really liked was when Ash was seeing the future of the possibility of him and Megan, he was so adorable. I mean, he was showing him how to use some, like, human technology and how excited he got about it, and just, he was like a little kid, and it made me so happy to see that compared to, like, the stonic, expressionless ice guy we met in the first book. And after all that, he's given one question. Do you still want this human soul? And, you know, the fact that he went through all this does change things. He knows what to fully expect if he becomes human now. And despite all that, he says yes, he still wants a soul. But there's a catch. Something as pure as a soul cannot just spring from nothingness. Someone in their party must make a willing sacrifice of their own life for a soul to be born. And hearing that, Ash is like, no, on that thought, I don't want a soul. No. He doesn't want anyone to give up their life for him. But, of course, Ariella is just like, I'll do it. And there was nothing that Ash could do to stop her. She was living on borrowed time. The whole point of the Never Never bringing her back was to basically make sure that Megan Chase became the Iron Queen. And she can't go back to the way things used to be. Ash before had told her that he still loves her, he still cares about her, but he is not in love with her anymore. So Ariella sacrifices herself for Ash to get a soul. But apparently the future that he saw was only one of many. He does still have access to some of his glamour. He is still stronger than a human would be. He is neither Fae nor human, or even half-blood. He's just something weird in-between thing. So he's going to be able to survive the Iron Realm, but he has enough Fae in him still to be able to use glamour, to be strong, and in short, be able to protect Megan to his best ability. So that was all happy. And just the reunion between Megan and Ash at the very end, I was in tears, guys. I was honestly in tears as I read that, because it was so sweet. It made me so happy that they were together. It was so cute. So it was cute and adorable, and I loved it. And I especially liked how things between Ash and Puck did get better. So now they're not going to be trying to kill each other every time they see each other. And they are on much better terms now than ever before since Ariella's death. So that made me happy. Because in all honesty, Ash and Puck have got to be one of my favorite bro TPs in the book world. And I like Megan and Puck being a bro TP too, so yay! My bro TPs and OTPs are all happy and set, and yay! Yes, I absolutely love this series. It is one of my favorite series ever, and this has to be one of my favorite books in this series. And I have high hopes for the Call of the Fun series, which is the spin-off to this series. And I can't wait to pick up the first one in that, because I have a feeling it's going to be just as amazing. So, with that, I am going to stop myself here. So, that will be it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts. Keep on reading.